Welcome back to a new season of Repco Muscle Garage, the home of New Zealand's toughest muscle cars, hot rods and street machines. Proudly brought to you by Repco, in association with Mount Shop, Maguire's and Rislone. And on this week's show, we're heading down to the Manawatu for the open day of a shop that's been turning out some incredible work for almost 20 years now, Cruisin' Customs. But first, thanks to Maguire's, we're back to Meremere for one of the biggest race days on the calendar, the Petrolhead Father's Day Drags. Unquestionably the top street car event in the country. Hosted by the American Muscle Car Club, the meet's been running for almost 40 years now, and its legendary status is only going from strength to strength. With drag racing now well and truly roaring back into full swing after years of disruptions, this one felt like a pretty special occasion too. The stands were packed with punters, and there was a strong field of 146 cars registering to compete. Notably, racing at this one isn't open to everybody. First up, you need to be street legal, and it's Americana versus Australia all the way. So, as ever, from Fords and Holdens to Chevys and Chryslers, all the muscle car icons were out in force.
The Father's Day Drags is obviously held here at Meremere at what we call now Napa Auto Parts Raceway. I think it's the largest event that's been put on by a club held here at the Dragway. From what I understand, it's been running since about '84. I've been coming down to this event, just probably since I was a kid. Love coming down here to Meremere. It's a bit of a holy grail place for me. There's a lot of history going on, and we catch up with a lot of people we haven't seen for years. It's street cars only. We only allow warranted and registered cars. They have to be V8s. They have to be of American or Australian origin. We don't have anything that's pre-48. And I think that's what attracts a lot of people. They want to see the old school cars and the big bangers, Obviously, we're American Muscle Car Club, so we are American car orientated only. We've opened the Australian side of it because there's such a huge market there as well, and we were all brought up in Australian cars as well. And it creates quite a good little bit of grudge racing out there as well. We run what we call the top 8 shootout here. So the fastest 8 cars of the American and fastest 8 Australian cars get to race each other, and we go head to head for an all out at the end of it.
Yep, infamously, this is the country's quickest street car shootout. And there's plenty at stake, with $10,000 up for grabs and lots of spot prizes handed out at award time. But really, the biggest reward is bragging rights. Because if you've got a street car, this is the trophy you want on the mantelpiece. That means this attracts a field of seriously heavy hitters from far and wide, as well as a lot of drivers who simply love to be part of the event, even if they're not likely to take home any silverware.
1971 Chevelle, bought it in 2011, built it up, took me about 3.5 years, still going and evolving the car, It's got a 600 cubic inch big block in it now, nitrous, and it's street legal, so it's got a low volume on it, just a good all-round nice muscle car, When I imported it, it was primer grey. It was a little bit rough, but the bones were good, and it had a little small block in it. And then I've just modified little bits and pieces, but still kept it roughly the same as when it was, I've got this new combination in, which was, I had Reese Fish involved in it, and Dave Moyle, he helped with the assembly and putting it together, so it's quite a stout little thing. So naturally aspirated, we've down to a 9.5, and with nitrous, which we're still sorting, it's a couple of 9.1s, so it's got a little bit more up its sleeve, and that was only with a little baby sniffer nitrous too, so yeah, it's got a bit more to go.
'73 Corvette Stingray, 540 cube, 1471 high helix blower, fuel injection, running on E85 for a turbo 400. The whole time in mind was to get this car to drag week in the States. At that Cassidy Civil Drags end of last year, we peeled down from 8.7 to 8.4 to 8.3 something. So I'm happy at running 8.5.
And among the field, there was also one driver who was surprisingly MIA. Father's Day legend Reese Fish. He didn't make it this year, but his absence loomed large.
He's held prime position at first for years.
Unfortunately, Reese Fish is not available to make it today. You're talking a car that ran, I think, a best of 7.2 or 7.3, if I remember rightly, at 190 mile an hour.
And he's jokingly saying, oh, well, he's going to let someone else have it today, you know, so sweet, I'll come down.
At the end of the day, it's all about the top 8 shootouts. And amongst a competitive field, a few vehicles immediately stood out. The Australian top 8s, for example, pretty much seemed like a foregone conclusion once Aaron Jenkins rolled through the gates. Off track for a couple of seasons, his Tirana's now in top shape, thanks to a few tweaks from C&M Performance. And it was obvious his intimidating twin-turbo beast was going to be the one to beat.
We've got a scratch-built 1977 Holden Tirana, big block Chev, turbos, power glide, 9-inch, just your standard stuff really for drag racing. So, with a waff and reg. Out of the last rebuild, I've had Reese Fisher's done the motor and Carl from C&M's done all the tuning and that on it. Well, when I bought the car, it was just literally just a rolling shell, so there was nothing in it. And then always knew it was going to be a big block car, and then ended up with turbos. And like everything, it just grows as the build goes along. No set game plan to start with, and just keep building. The smaller the motor, the angrier it is. So the bigger the motor, the lazier it is. You can cruise. I just always like the Aussie stuff, you know, AC/DC and Oldens. What more is there, eh, you know?
And right beside Jenkins in the lead-up was another hot car on the day, representing the American contingent, the seriously striking-looking 604 Cube Hemi Barracuda of Wayne Grimmer.
So it's a 1973 Plymouth Barracuda, built a Ray Barton 604-inch cubic inch engine, which is a street engine. It's a pump gas motor. I didn't want the maintenance of a high roll lift cam. It makes 930 horse. It's a blast on the street. And I just wanted the car that I could race at the Father's Day drags, so I wanted a street legal car and also a dual purpose car. But it is a fine line from the street to the strip, and I'm probably pretty much on that now. Take it to quite a few car shows, and it certainly gets the looks. This motor combination, it's run a best of a 941 at 144 mile an hour at the Father's Day drags, probably about 5 years ago. So I'm hoping to get back to my 950s, 940s. My goal is today is hopefully to make the top 8 shootout. That's all. I always like to get in that shootout, and from where it goes from there, see how we go.
Clocking consistent mid-9s, Grimmer's Plymouth went on to become the deserved winner of this year's American Top 8 title. Meanwhile, after a few initial hiccups, Jenkins eventually smoked the Australian section of the field with some fearsome runs, taking out the Australian Top 8s with a 9.34 at an insanely fast 154.9 miles per hour, which led to a final one-off champion versus champion shootout late in the afternoon. Ultimately, it was Jenkins who took the glory with his fastest pass of the day, an 8.5 at 156.75 miles per hour, ending another fantastic Father's Day event in style. Full of families having heaps of fun alongside some of the country's quickest, this year's gathering of serious street-registered muscle was once again a huge success. So what is it that makes Father's Day so famous?
There's a bit of a lull between the competition season, so it's really the first meeting of the year. It's just a great event.
In New Zealand, it's the best place to showcase a street car that can go fast.
It's cool because it's a street car meeting, and it's probably the only one that New Zealand has that's only dedicated for street cars.
I don't know whether it's just because it's Father's Day, I don't know. Good quality cars here, good bunch of guys with all the common interest.
It's just built over the years, and it's like one of the top shows of the year.
To me, this is, it's obviously the pinnacle of the street car events in New Zealand.
And if that's what you're into, this is where you need to be.
The people that come down here, that's what really makes the event. Obviously the drivers that come down to race, but we also don't have a race if we don't have the spectators that come out. And without them, obviously we just couldn't make this event happen.
Protection of hybrid ceramic.
Whoa.
Now in 3 easy-to-use products. In original spray wax, now as a liquid wax, and a spray detailer. Meguiar's hybrid ceramic family with advanced SiO2 technology. Meguiar's, ceramic made easy.
Rizlone has been in engines almost as long as engines have been in cars. Why? Because from then until now, there's never been a perfectly clean fuel. This means every time you fill up, you're adding pollutants and contaminants to your fuel system. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner can cure those woes and help save your engine. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner adds an upper cylinder lubricant, providing double the cleaning power out of the same bottle. We know something about aging well, so when we say it's your engine's fountain of youth under a screw top, you can count on it. Rizlone is the original engine tune-up. Available at participating stores near you.
You're tuned in to Repco Muscle Garage. Now with Rizlone, we're headed for the Manawatu to check out the always popular midwinter chill out. A workshop open day turned car show hosted by Palmy hot rod shop, Cruisin' Customs.
So Cruisin' Customs is a business that my dad started 17 years ago. Pretty much anything that you want American vehicle-wise, whether it's hot rod, muscle car, trucks. If you can see a picture on Google, on Instagram, something like that, hey man, this is what I want. There's a way to be able to do it.
The first weekend in August is always a big one in this part of the world. Petrol heads converge from all corners of the country. Kicking the weekend off with the Palmerston North Hot Rod Club's annual swap meet in Fielding, followed by a short drive down to Palmy, where Cruisin' Customs throw open the workshop doors for the afternoon.
Midwinter Chill Out is just an open day, really, to showcase the customers' builds that we do. It's a bit of a give back to our customers. You know, come in for a sausage and a beer on a Saturday after the Palmy Club swap meet. Yeah, it's just a good showcase of the skill and the talent of our guys that we've got here and what the customers are allowing us to do to their stuff. It's pretty cool that you know, you can show off its raw form. When stuff looks good in bare steel, it's going to look even better in paint. To be able to highlight everything that we're doing, you know, in a whole lot of different stages. You know, you walk into the shop and there's all the, you know, stuff that's pretty close to completion, and then the stuff behind me here is kind of our fabrication area. It's all patinaed paint, you know, whether it's getting panel painted or whatever. Bare chassis to motors just being mounted to near-on blow apart and panel and paint everything, you know, it's pretty cool.
With the shop floor full of builds under the knife, Cruisin' Customs is one of the country's bigger workshops. With a team of 16 talented staff on board, there's also some healthy competition at play.
They try and one-up each other. They have a little bit of light banter pretty much every hour of the day. And it's good, it's healthy. You know, if you're wanting to do better than the next guy, the only good thing to come out of that is the customer gets a better result. It's basically their car until it gets handed over to the customer. You know, the customer owns the car, but they build it like it's their own. You know, they wouldn't do anything on any of these cars that they wouldn't do on their own car. They're all hot rod guys, they're all car guys. Pretty cool environment to be in.
Taking up a fair chunk of the shop's real estate is the ever-popular pickup truck. Most are here for the same deal. Old school looks with late model reliability and handling. Something that's super important to the Cruisin' Customs team.
Just the drivability of the truck. We build all our own chassis. They're all laser cut, jigged. We sell them all over the place. You know, they've gone all over the world, our chassis. You've still got the soul of an old truck, but you're not straight freeways like you are in America. You've got to be able to corner, you've got to be able to stop, you've got to be able to drive in the conditions that New Zealand has. We're not lucky enough to have sunshine 365 days a year like California, so we have to be able to drive in the wet. I think that's what our trucks do. Heights, front ends, 4 bars, 9 inches, late model fuel injected motors. Whatever's going to make that driving experience better than it was from the factory. So it's a 59 Chevy Apache, full Art Morrison chassis, so full Art Morrison front and rear end. Basically worked alongside our certifier, brought the Art Morrison chassis to New Zealand standards. You know, there's a few little bits and pieces that we needed to change and need to do. LS1 and 4L60 trans. There's a whole lot of bits and pieces that have gone into it. You know, we've put a new dash in it, we've filled the firewall, put a heater into it, aftermarket stereo system that's all hidden, one-piece glass conversion, lift-up deck, drop tank in the back. It's going to drive absolutely amazing. You know, it's going to be like it's on train tracks. It's the current build that we're pretty proud of. The customer's basically given us free rein to do whatever we want. It's just said, just don't touch the paint. Just leave it how it is, and however you guys want to do it and make it happen. Can't wait for it to be finished, and I can't wait to drive it, and I can't wait to give it to the customer. The customer's going to be pretty happy, and that's what we want.
Nearing the home stretch is this 70s Chevy. Tash is a repeat customer here, with Cruisin' Customs building her stunning 55 Nomad a few years back. Husband Todd decided he'd better get in on the act too, trusting the team to lead the way on this build. One of Todd's few stipulations was the integrated chili bin.
That's another family that we've built a car for previously. They're just amazing people to have around us. They've given us pretty much full design reign. The build has just knocked out any expectation that we ever had. That's stuff that you kind of dream of building. Yeah, we're lucky enough to be doing it. The companies ex-USA that's kind of got behind the build as well, like Ride Tech and Heights and Low Car and Porterbuilt have made the process real easy. The components that are in that truck, that thing is just going to drive awesome, and we can't wait to get it done. We're hoping to get it done for the beat shop. We need to paint the body. That should have some colour on it in the next couple of weeks. The colour's going to be pretty out there. It's a complete contrast of the chassis, so we're really looking forward to seeing how that one comes together. The process of the build, customers come in, they see what you've done, you've mounted something somewhere, and they had no idea where that was going to go, and then they see it done, and it's awesome, man. The finished product, them driving down the road, you see them at a hot rod show, or you see it in print, you see it in magazines on cars that you built years ago, and they're still driving them, they're still enjoying them, they're still loving it. For them to be enjoying it and enjoying the process of the build as well, to rock in and be stoked with what's going on, is a big pride thing for us, for the guys that are doing the job. People appreciate what they're doing, they love the end result. They've brought it to you for a reason. They've obviously seen previous builds that you've done. Everybody wants it better than the last person, so you've kind of got that expectation that you need to deliver a high quality product with high quality components, and the fabrication needs to be on point all the time. It does get a little bit stressful here and there, but like I say, there's definitely worse occupations to have. Walking in each morning and kind of looking out into the workshop and just going, yeah, this shit's pretty cool.
It's great to be back. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on Repco Muscle Garage. Feel like your car could do with some TLC? No worries, we've got every base covered. Because we could be hooking you up with an incredible prize pack thanks to our sponsors. For a start, there's this massive Maguire's and Rislone Complete Car Care Pack valued at over $760. Thanks to Repco, we've also thrown in this amazing Mech Pro tool chest valued at $724. To stay on top of everything underneath, there's a $500 mount shop voucher. And last but not least, you'll also score a year's subscription to NZV8 magazine. That's a total prize pool of nearly $2,000. To enter, just head over to themotorhood.com and hit the Repco Muscle Garage link on the homepage. The winner will be drawn at the end of the series, so make sure you get amongst, because this prize pack is one major haul. Good luck. Repco Muscle Garage was proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. Mount Shop Undercar Specialists. Maguire's, people who love cars love Maguire's. And Rislone, high performance additives for high performance vehicles.